Have you ever noticed something strange? There are men who don't say much, don't argue, don't explain themselves, and yet people hesitate around them. Not out of fear, out of uncertainty, because they don't know what they'll get. Now compare that to you. You respond fast, you explain yourself, you smooth things over, you keep the peace. And somehow, you still feel drained. Not from work, not from effort, from something you can't fully name. Here's what it is. You're leaking energy through reaction. Every time you respond when you didn't need to, every time you explain something that was already clear, every time you defend yourself to someone who already decided who you are, you give something away. Not all at once, piece by piece, until one day you wake up tired, in a life that doesn't feel heavy on paper, but feels heavy inside. And that's where most men get it wrong. They think the problem is effort, so they try to rest more, disconnect more, escape more. But you're not tired, you're overexposed. You're too available, and nobody ever told you that being available all the time is not a strength. It's a pattern. You were trained into it, since you were young. Be responsive, be agreeable, be there. Don't be difficult, don't be cold, don't be distant. So you learn to react quickly, to fix things fast, to stay accessible. And now you do it automatically. Not because you choose to, because silence feels wrong, because not responding feels like losing, because disapproval feels like something you should avoid. But here's the shift. Not everyone around you wants you. Some of them want your reaction. They want the version of you that answers fast, that engages, that explains, that can be pulled into any conversation, any tension, any situation. Because a man who reacts can be predicted, and a man who can be predicted can be managed. All it takes is the right trigger, the right tone, the right pressure, the right moment, and they know exactly what they'll get from you. Now watch what happens when that stops, when you don't answer immediately, when you don't explain yourself, when you don't react to every little thing thrown at you. Something shifts, not loudly, subtly. The people who actually respect you, they adjust. They don't panic. They don't chase reactions. They don't try to pull you back into the same patterns. They give you space. But the others, they feel it immediately. And they don't like it. They push harder. They question you. They accuse you of changing, of being distant, of being cold, like it's a problem. Like staying the same was ever the goal. Pay attention to that, because their discomfort is information. It tells you exactly who needed your availability and who respected your presence. And here's the part most men don't hear. When you stop being available, you will lose people. Not enemies. People you actually liked. People you were used to. People who felt normal in your life. And it will feel like something is breaking, because it is, but not in the way you think. You're not losing connection. You're losing patterns. You're losing the version of yourself that was easy to access, easy to pull, easy to use. And that version of you was costing you more than you realized. Now let's get something clear. Silence is not weakness. It's not avoidance. It's not you running away. Silence is control. It's the moment a man decides that not everything deserves his attention, that not every message needs a reply, that not every opinion deserves a response, that not every situation requires his presence, because your energy is not unlimited, and most men spend it like it refills automatically, talking too much, explaining too much, reacting too fast, and revealing everything. But the man who stays quiet forces the room to adjust to him. He doesn't chase clarity. He creates it. And there's power in that. Not loud power, not performative power, controlled power. The kind that makes people think twice before stepping into your space. But here's the cost. Because there is always a cost. When you become less available, you become harder to understand. And people don't like what they don't understand. They'll fill in the gaps. They'll assume things, project things, label you based on their discomfort. Let them. Because the alternative is living a life where you are always understood, but never respected. And that's where most men stay. Always available, always explaining, always present, and slowly disappearing inside their own life. So the real question isn't whether this works. It does. The question is whether you're willing to deal with what comes with it. The silence, the distance, the shift in how people see you. Because on the other side of that is a different version of you. A man who doesn't react to everything, who doesn't explain himself to everyone, who doesn't need constant engagement to feel secure. A man who moves differently, quietly, deliberately, without asking for permission from people who were never building anything themselves. Most men will hear this, agree with it, and go right back to reacting the same way tomorrow. Not because they don't understand, because they're not ready to lose what comes with change. The question is simple. When the moment comes, when you feel the urge to react, to explain, to engage, will you? Or will you finally stay still and let everything change?